Welcome back to yet another fine episode of the Bottom Shelf Project, where we take the alcoholic bullet for you so you don't have to.
That's right.
And we have an interesting offering today, something I didn't think really existed. We found
a unicorn! we found a unicorn. We found a unicorn.
No, we have Glen Ness. It's a Highland single malt Scotch whiskey with an age statement on it in our bottom shelf price range.
Under $20.
Under $20.
On sale or normal?
On normal price.
Normal price.
This is a normal price at our local Total Wine. This is an age state 8-year single malt.
8 years.
And it really surprised me because normally single malt scotches are the high level of alcohols. Scotches were the first ones that really got ridiculous expensive. And when you get one that is not a blend, even a single malt blend can be expensive. There's no grain whiskey. This is a true single malt. Here it is.
All right.
Now the Highland single malts, like I said a second ago, they're typically not quite as smoky.
Yeah.
But it still may not hit all the buttons for you. But this fine screw cap.
This is why it's under $20.
Single malt with a screw cap.
And because I've had this before, we're skipping the Glencairn because this is an aromatic whiskey.
Now, he has had it before.
I have.
I have not. John has not?
No.
Aromatic whiskey, is that what we're calling
an
it?
aromatic whiskey.
As opposed to the unaromatic whiskeys?
It's aromatic.
So.
Does this mean
is that the new artesian? I can slap that on the bottle and charge $20 more?
Does this mean that the alcohol's gonna like burn my nose hair out when I take a whiff of this thing?
Well, I no spoilers, so.
Okay, all right, here we go.
Give it a good nosing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait. This actually reminds me of something. Malort! No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Bad touch.
Bad touch. Show us on the doll where the
So,
Malort
bearing in mind
touched
this isn't a Glencairn, so the nose isn't up front.
No, but this reminds me of something. I can't put my nose on it.
Since I've delved into this before, right off the top of my head, one of the things that stood out to me was this is one of the sweeter smelling scotches.
Yeah, it is a very sweet smell, but there's a little undercurrent of...
it's kind of a dairy sweet smell, like a cream.
It says select oak casks. It's kind of reminding me a little bit of the... not sherry cask finish. What's the one that Compass Box, the Spaniards, finished in?
Oh, shoot. If you hadn't asked me, I could have told you.
See.
But yeah, that is a specific wine cask that is aged.
Yeah.
And it's not, I don't believe it's a sherry, it's something else.
No, it's Madeira.
Oh, yes, Madeira.
Madeira wine cask. And it's kind of reminding me of that. But it doesn't say Madeira, so I don't know.
You know, when I originally noticed this, I wouldn't have thought that, but yeah, now I can pick
see
a little
what
bit
I'm
of,
talking
although
about?
I don't think this is in anything other than just your standard run-of-the-mill repurposed bourbon barrels that they usually use for scotch.
Maybe.
All right,
here we go. It's just kind of there.
No, I don't know.
That's
I think it lingers in the back of the palate.
Yeah, but what lingers in the back of the palate? Like, it's just not...
I'm getting... So back to what Carrie was saying. I'm getting like a brown butter off of it.
Yes, sir. The initial flavor to me, again for a scotch, surprisingly sweet, but a dairy kind of sweetness.
But it's like a brown butter.
Like a browned butter.
That's what it... it's not not quite caramel, because you haven't added the extra sugar to it.
No.
But it's a brown
And then
butter.
immediately after that, now it's a little thin.
Mm-hmm.
It's not got that oily consistency that really good scotches have. But after that, then the pepperiness kicks in.
There's a little peppery after that.
You get a little bit of the wood.
Now, it does not linger on the front of the palate.
No.
But in the back of the palate, it's got a nice aftertaste to it.
And it's got a nice warmth to it afterwards, too. Again, the flavor doesn't disappear immediately like some of the things that we've had in the past.
So, I'll say this. I'm not a big fan of smoky scotches.
Right.
I would drink this.
And it's not overpowering. There's a little bit of smoke there.
There is a little bit, but
it's
it's secondary.
And bear in mind,
sweetness-
this is drinking neat on an otherwise really warm Florida day. I mean,
Yeah.
we're already well into spring here, and I think it got close to 90 degrees Fahrenheit outside, and it's still nice and sunny, so that's hence us shooting outside. But if this were served on a typical Scottish kind of day, a little overcast, 65, room temperature, then I think it might change the profile a little bit. It might not be quite as aggressive. Now, when I originally tasted this, I was surprised by the sweetness first off.
Yeah.
The pepper and the warmth of it was welcome. The warmth hung around a little bit longer than I expected, and for an 8-year whiskey, I thought this was a bit aggressive.
It is aggressive.
there's no
It
doubt about
tastes
that.
like a younger whiskey. It does not taste like an 8-year-old whiskey. It tastes like a 2 or 3-year-old whiskey.
An 8-month whiskey. Yeah, I
Like
feel
for
like
instance, the our local distillery, St. Augustine, put out a bourbon that they aged for 2 years, and it is similar to that in that it spent some time in the barrel, but it still has that aggressive, abrupt kind of character. This is a bit more refined than that, but it's somewhat similar.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not really. I mean, okay. On a technicality, it's a single malt. It's under $20. It's got an age statement. On those things, I'm like, all right, fine. It'll get the job done. But it doesn't really grab me.
If I were at a dive bar somewhere out in
If my life was tragically over.
But think about it. You're on your way out of town,
If I was on a
You get the
4-day
hankering.
bender contemplating death.
or better yet, you're at a hotel somewhere and you're in the hotel bar and you ask for a single malt on the rocks, and they serve you something like this. This would fit the bill.
Yeah, it would get the job done.
It gets the job
But
done. I would not go out of my way for this, and if I were going to buy a bottle to savor myself, it probably not going to be this. In certain circumstances, I think you could probably jazz this up to be a decent ingredient to certain cocktails.
yeah,
Now, let's also look
that
at
would
this
be.
one.
I bet it would make a nice highball. I'll bet it would make a nice highball.
I'm gonna fight for this thing a little more than you guys
Okay.
are, because I like sweeter whiskeys and I tend more towards the Irish ones. I think this is a good starter Scotch. If somebody doesn't know their Scotches and they want to get into Scotch, I think this is a good way to start. It's cheap.
Yeah.
They don't have to go out and
Wholeheartedly agree
They
with
don't
you.
have to go out and spend a whole lot of money on it, and it's good. And then they can go, okay, well, that's what a cheap Scotch is like, and I don't hate it. Maybe I'll invest a little more in another Scotch.
And because it is a little bit more on the sweeter side, like honestly, if you make the classic highball, on the rocks with soda and lemon, I'll bet it would be really good.
Yeah, a little scotch and soda.
I'll bet it'd be like the traditional Japanese style highball is highball glass, shot of whiskey, fill the rest up with ice and soda water, and then squeeze a lemon in there and stir it up, and that would be a really, honestly, I'll bet this would make a really nice highball.
And it's actually ironic that you mention that, because a Highland single malt was the first Scotch that I ever had that I really enjoyed. And it, again, is not as abrupt or as challenging as a Campbellton or an Isla.
That's the thing. It's a starter with Scotch.
Yeah. Even like some of the Space Sides, they have that brinier, spicier flavor to them.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily spice, but the brinier flavor to some of the Space Sides. The Highlands, Highland and Lowlands, I think, make good entry-level Scotches.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I'll definitely go with that.
Yeah, and I was really curious about this when I saw it in the Total Wine app. I was browsing around just looking for targets, and
It's a target-rich environment.
Target-rich environment.
and the Total Wine app definitely is. There's some prizes there to be had. But
That's scary.
the bottle is kind of light on information. But
That's putting it mildly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's alcohol.
And this does say that it's been matured for more than 8 years in selected casks.
I'm gonna be honest. I find as aggressive as it is, I find that a little hard to do.
It's as do I, unless this was some really rough around the edge
Some
juice.
rot gut when they put it in.
Yeah.
It could have been some rot gut when they put it in the barrel, but
Okay. So there you have it.
And
Glen Ness.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind putting this over some rocks at some time. I've sampled it neat. I really haven't done much with it. And I also mixed it with a little bit of amaretto.
Well, for science.
Oh, okay.
For science.
For science.
Do we want to put it on ice?
Actually, yeah. Let me make a little mystery something for you and put it over some rocks and see what you think. So here we are back with a mystery simple cocktail. We took the Glen Ness, added a simple mixer and a tiny bit of agave simple syrup, poured it over the rocks, and we've let it chill just a little bit and to get friendly with that ice. So give it a taste to see if you think this improves it a bit.
Brings out more of that buttery flavor you were talking about that I was having. I couldn't find that buttery flavor, but now here it's there. I can taste it much better there.
Yep, it's there.
It's definitely there.
This was flying.
Now
by
it's
the
almost candy-ish.
Yeah.
This was flying by the seat
Like
of my pants, but
butterscotch.
yeah. So the mystery mixer was a tiny splash of walnut liqueur.
Ooh.
Because it's got just a little bit of smokiness to it. The nuttiness of the walnut liqueur I thought would mix really well. And again, a little splash of walnut, a little tiny splash of simple syrup. And in this case, it was agave simple syrup. So it's got more earthiness to it. Honey simple syrup would work good too. But between that and the scotch, complements the smoke without overpowering it, supports it.
It brings out the buttery flavor.
Taste
really
it again
good.
and see if you can taste a little bit of that walnut behind it.
I definitely, once you mention it, it's there. Not as much as that. Remember the Canadian
Now I put the least amount in yours.
whiskey that we tried
40
that's just so
Now that,
walnutty?
I got to go get some of that. And by the way, if you haven't seen what he's talking about, he's talking about the 40 Creek
Yeah.
Canadian whiskey, which was one of Richard's favorites. To which I need to go out and get some of that stuff.
That stuff was delicious.
Yep.
It really was.
Do yourself a favor. Go
really-
back, watch the old episode. I posted it recently.
Yeah.
And we highly recommend that for a bottom shelf liquor. You can't go wrong with.
You
40
cannot go wrong
You
with that
cannot
price.
go
It
wrong
is
with 40 Creek. It is
unbelievable.
really, really tasty. See, it's really nice walnut flavor. You know how walnuts sometimes they taste a little dry in your tongue? It's like all the walnut flavor without that dryness.
And it's like, and you can get one of the big bottles usually, 40 milliliter or something.
Those are 750 mils is a regular bottle. The large one's a 1.75.
1.75. You can get a 1.75 for like $30.
Yeah. Like, seriously inexpensive. Seriously cheap.
And I
really
think
good
this
stuff.
compares favorably to that. This is a little sweeter, a little smokier than
Yeah,
that.
I'm gonna
but
go
it's-
so far as to say, like, I'm not really crazy about drinking this neat again, but I will drink this in a mixer. I'll drink this in a cocktail. It's fine. It's fine.
And I kind of echo that too.
Everything's
when
fine.
We're all fine here. How are you?
When I had tried this neat a couple times just to wrap my brain around it, it's okay to drink neat. There's some scotches that I think is almost a crime not to drink neat. This would not be one of those.
Yeah.
I would rather drink this over some ice, or in a very simple cocktail like this, maybe with a splash of amaretto, the almond liqueur or walnut liqueur, hazelnut if you've got it.
Yeah. It'd be great for highballs. Maybe even a whiskey and Coke. You know, it might even be something interesting to try with it there, because it is kind of sweet and buttery. So it's
a nice scotch and soda would work well too. So ultimately, there you go. Nice starter scotch. It doesn't really live up to the billing of being an age statement scotch for
But it
8
gets the job
years.
done. No,
but it gets the job done, and it's approachable.
It is approachable. It's. I'm not saying it's got a place in your bar, but if you aren't a Scotch drinker and you're thinking you might want to be a Scotch drinker, it's good. It's a good starter.
Yep.
And there you go. For me, a member of the Empty Glass Club.
Don't let it go to waste.
Yes, sir. Until next time.